Hey, I'm Lydia Isnanto, and this is Dreampreneurs Chat. It's a show where I chat with dream chasers all around the world who make their passion their paycheck, loving the risk they took, and the job they do. Imagine being 17 and filing for disability, waking up every morning feeling broken and full of pain. This was Sara Morell-Vaughn's story. We chat about her ups and downs and how she reached her best self in health and skin.
Living unapologetically you. So letting go of perfectionism, using all our own money, we've never taken a dollar to run the companies, being okay to ask for help, and showing vulnerability, showing emotion. These are things that make it real.
Sara has studied nutritional therapy diploma and is continuing her education in holistic health and environmental education. In 2012, Sara launched her first company, ELLSSA, ELLSSA, a global nonprofit organization, and then launched her second company, Nature of NoMore, in 2014. With her mission helping others one step at a time to say no more to toxicity and no more to not living the highest expression of yourself.
For a self-made woman like me.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dreampreneurs Chat Show. I am so excited because today, finally, I can meet Sara. And she has amazing story. I read your articles, your blog yesterday on the Instagram.
Great.
I love her story. Thank you so much, Sara, for being here.
Yeah.
So you are the founder of ELLSSA,
Yes.
nonprofit,
Yes.
and also the owner of NoMore.
Yes.
So tell us your story.
Yay! Well, thank you for having me
Yeah.
on. I've been watching her documentaries and little sneak peek shows here and there, and I'm like, I really want to get on. You do it so well, and your travels are just drool. I'm always like, I want to go. I want to do it. So my story starts. I guess all of us are kind of born into this world with a plan that our soul knows, and my soul has always known that I wanted to serve and to make a difference. And throughout my childhood, I suffered from chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorders. I had what they had diagnosed by the time I was 17 to have fibromyalgia or undiagnoses that people couldn't really put a finger on. So they kind of just say, well, you possibly have fibromyalgia, or you have this, or you have that. But basically my body ached all the time. I had chronic inflammation. I was so tired. I suffered from depression, bloating, and I just felt like there was no winning this battle, no matter what I did. It was just chronic illness, chronic pain. I remember at one point in my life being so stricken by pain, I was laying in my own vomit, and I couldn't yell for help. It hurt that bad, I couldn't yell for help. And in the home that I grew up in, unfortunately, a lot of my family suffer from chronic migraines, chronic pain, just all sorts of different ailments. And it just was what it was. And in their generation, you couldn't really do anything but take a pill. And that was it. Like, it was genetic, and that's just how you dealt with it. And along the journey, I had gained quite a bit of weight. And around 21, that's when I started looking into the food that I was eating. And I had discovered that when I started clearing out my diet and clearing out the things in my environment, I started to feel better. But this was such a foreign object to me to have something that was in my genetics be cured by an exterior thing like eliminating toxins. So it's been a journey. For 14 years now, I've been studying nutrition and holistic health. And I have found that it's absolutely possible to cure your body through food, community, mindset, removing the toxins around you. And it's my personal passion project to help other people find their way to remove the toxicity out of their life.
So it's already your passion before it became a business.
Yes. Yeah.
And you said that you have already started like 17 years, when you were 17, when you're 7 or 17 years ago? Or?
Well, when I was 17, I was diagnosed to be disabled. They said I would never work.
Oh my God,
Yeah, so I thought that was it, but 21 is actually when I started having the huge shifts. And I'm almost 35 now, so
Yeah.
about 14 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
that's
God,
right,
you
yeah.
looks like forever 17.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is amazing. You know, a lot of people still finding out what is their passion, but you find it through your story. That, like, I read your articles. You thought that, you know, as your life is gonna be always a broken and a mistake, you know, and that's amazing how you fight through that. Like, was there any support system that you receive? You know, like where is that motivation came from, you know, like I have to do something, you know, like, I mean, I can imagine if I were in your position, like maybe like I will just believe whatever the doctor said, maybe, you know. So where was that strength came from?
I love this question.
Yeah.
I love this question. Actually, what's really cool about this question
is
it was Bali, Indonesia. So Indonesia, you're home. Yeah. I remember when you had first mentioned Indonesia, I was like, my heart. So I had a teacher in college. Her name is Vicky Hanalin, and if anyone has seen my YouTube videos, you've heard me quote her almost every single time. She was the catalyst in my life. I had taken a course from her called Human Potential. And she was on her way to Bali, Indonesia. And by the time, the first question she ever asked me was, what would you do if it didn't matter if you were too poor or too sick or too XYZ? What would you do? And this spark lit up in me, like, wow, if I wasn't sick, if I wasn't poor, I mean, I grew up in line for food boxes. If I didn't have all these chains or weights, I would do this. I would help people, and I would, I thought, oh, I'd go to Bali with her, because she had mentioned Bali. And to shorten that story, by the third day I had manifested flights, and I was really blessed to have my family support me, my mom with a flight and my grandmother with my stay. And I went to Bali for 6 weeks.
By yourself?
With her. I flew by myself and met her. She was already there. And Vicky Hanalin is a motivational speaker, singer, songwriter, book author. She's blind and travels the world blind. She went blind in her 40s. If you haven't heard of her, you should look at her. If you're scared of anything, look at Vicky's story. She went blind in her 40s and chooses to still travel the world alone. And she relies on the kindness of strangers. So she has amazing stories. And she teaches people how to live their best life. It's called Seeing Who You Are Meant to Be. So I spent 6 weeks in the heart of the world, Bali, with the most wonderful people. Katut Lior from Eat, Pray, Love. Like, I got to meet him and the medicine woman and experience that. So 6 weeks with her and 6 weeks in this place. By the time it was over, my life was never the same. And that was the catalyst, having really good mentorship. And meeting other people who also transformed their life was confirmation. And I think what's really key in all of this is following your zing. You feel the calling. Whatever feels light and happy is the zing, is what I call the zing. That's, you know, spirit, the divine, your highest consciousness, whatever you want to call it, your soul, that's saying that this is the yes for you, and letting go of anything that your mind says and just following what feels good. Everything else will follow. The doors will open, and that's what happened for me.
I think that is really priceless. Like, you know, like you met somebody that can do that. Even right now, like people still keep looking for coach, you know, or mentor that probably is still like not suitable for them, you know. It's not easy, but you just find it at the right time. And so after from Bali, you came back to America?
Yes.
And you start doing this business, or?
Well, one of Vicky's first assignments was that I move from the town that I was living in and go to the big city. So within just a few months, I left all my security. My mother owned a second property, so where I was living was very secure, and I could go to school and not pay very much. And I left all of that to leap for a big city where I didn't have a job, I didn't have these things set into place, and I just knew it was the right thing to do. So on paper, this doesn't make sense, but I was following the zing. So I moved to the big city, and what organically started to happen was I built ELLSSA, my 501c3 nonprofit. And I found a great community of friends, and we just started doing things that made a difference in people's lives. We worked with homeless, we helped support animal shelters, children with autism. So we did a lot of relief type work And that's what started the nonprofit. But I've always known I wanted to do a nonprofit. That I was sure of. My for-profit company, that is something that happened later that I never thought I would be doing.
That would be, you start ELLSSA first, and then later on, you try to research of this organic products, and you make your own product, which is NoMore.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so along the journey of discovering who I'm supposed to be and slowly having my health get better and better because I'm learning to eat better and to take out these toxins and to find my purpose, I would study the products I was using, and up to 60% of what you put on your skin absorbs into your body. It affects your gut, it affects your mind. They're discovering that mental illness is linked to that. So NoMore, as I was going through these years and I was progressing and noticing my health shifting, I noticed that the products I was using, even the organic ones, could still make you sick. And I'm learning that things that I thought were good for you, labeled pure, you know, all natural, were really hormone disruptors, thyroid disruptors, just toxic. Things that are supposed to be anti-aging would actually cause aging. And I just got fed up and started mixing my own products. I started studying what you would do to reverse aging, because I have years that I didn't treat my body so well. And I'm trying to make up for all of those years of, you know, I was on antibiotics and pharmaceuticals when I was so sick as a child and early adulthood. I was on antidepressants, all these things that I wanted to clear and reverse the damage. And so I have gone down the rabbit hole studying what you would do to detox your body, to help your body heal and to prevent any further damage. And through that became my other passion, which is Nature of NoMore. And it's a holistic health company that specializes in organic body care. So we do things like eye and neck cream and skin sprays and toothpaste. And one of my girlfriends asked in San Francisco actually about buying the products I was making, and a light bulb came on. I was like, wow, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, and it's going to help ELLSSA, my 501c3. And the name sparked to me, and I thought, you know, what does it mean? What does no more mean? Well, I don't want no more toxins, no more waste, no more than what we need. And that's where the name NoMore came from, Nature of NoMore. We use all nature's best ingredients in the products. That's really what it comes down to with food and with our products, is just back to nature. Like getting foods without pesticides in them, and, you know, going on the outside of the grocery store and not getting heavy processed. So that's really where the root of them both come, is just coming back to our self and nature, and that's where they both span from.
Yeah, and that's like, I mean, like really curious about how did you start to experiment this nature? Like, did you you plant something, you know, and then you try out with this ingredients, you know, like
Kinda.
oh my God, really? That's amazing.
Some of them. So now NoMore actually does a lot of our own infused oils. In the beginning, it was just a few where we would get our own herbs and do the double boiler systems or sunbathe our ingredients. Test out. I'd begged all my friends to come over and hang out and smell. And Daniel was actually one that helped cultivate it in the beginning before being an owner. And so it was a lot of testing and trials and a lot of research, figuring out what does already have scientific studies behind it. And then finding good sources is essential. So we have an amazing girl in Tennessee who owns her own farm, and she does a majority of our ingredients wild crafted organic. You know, so you would go to the store and you would think you'd be getting something healthy. It's the same thing with food, but it'd be polluted with other ingredients. And so we at NoMore have learned that we just have to make it ourselves. So growing and playing and consulting a lot of other experts has really helped us too.
Wow. That's really, I mean, it's always amazed me when somebody create from nothing to something. Oh my God.
Quite the process.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes.
Like how many years is already like right now?
6 years.
6 years for the NoMore, Nature NoMore.
Yeah. I mean, I've been mixing since I was little. I would put, I'm like, oh, I'm going to take this shampoo and this shampoo, and I'd mix things together. I make fabulous drinks and concoctions, and someday we'll move into the food world. So that's just kind of a weird thing I've always liked to do, is blend. So it's, my whole life, it's been a side project. And I've always wanted to find a way to help provide a solution.
Yeah.
I'm a seeker of truth. And so I'm often Adam ruins everything. I don't know if you've seen this show, but he ruins everything. He tells people what's wrong with things. And that's what I do a lot, and I don't mean to. So for me, having a solution, like, oh, you know what? That toothpaste is toxic. But here, is really good, because I'm usually the downer of the party. And I'm like, but there's hope.
Yeah.
There is things you can do. And I think NoMore is just one of the tools that helps fuel my passion, because I really love to help teach people on how to live their best life as well, which incorporates these things. So NoMore is just one of the babies in the family, and ELLSSA is one of the babies in the family, who has an amazing team, which Vicky and Daniel and all these people are still on too. And our support system that helps get us there with the husband and all that. But yeah.
So during the 6 years of your business with NoMore, any challenges, that you can share?
Well, motherhood. Yeah. I had this plan. Like, don't we all have a plan? I had a plan. I remember walking with my husband at the Palace of Fine Arts, and I thought, someday I shall be Oprah. And he laughed. I was like, whoa, for real? I wanna be Oprah in a Mother Teresa way. I want to help influence people and influence the world and help. And if you study Oprah, she does a lot. She has a school that she's donated her time and money to, and helping girls. I mean, just down the line. And so it's been, that was my plan. This is what I was going to do. I had it all together, and then surprise, we became pregnant. And I always thought pregnancy would be later, and I was going to adopt first. Again, your plan. I know, like they always say, the universe is laughing when we make a plan. So the birth of Atlas, my first son, for a lot of us, is just leading the way of all of our dying of the old. It's a transformation. It's my Sara's selfishness is gone. It's now sleepless nights for this entity that is challenging your everything. My Achilles heel, like, there we go. Here's time to work on it. So becoming a mom and figuring out where that balance is, it's like spinning plates. So one day, you spin the mom plate, another day you spin the ELLSSA plate, and then I come and spin the NoMore, and my husband and my friends and me, that balance for me. I heard a lady once say that there's never true balance in motherhood and businesshood. You'll never really get there. And I was like, I will too. I have not, but every day I try. So today I meditated. I didn't work out, but I meditated. Yesterday I worked out. So you find the balance. So I think that we've never taken $1. So to answer your question about some troubles or some things you would face as an entrepreneur or a woman, as a woman, I mean, we face a lot. The stigma behind, what you need to be or do or say. And it really is challenging the old order, living unapologetically you. Because as women, it's ingrained in us to be liked. Don't say too much, but say it right and look the right way. And so letting go of perfectionism, using all our own money. We've never taken $1 to run the companies. Being okay to ask for help and showing vulnerability, showing emotion. These are things that make it real. And it's also what makes it attractive to the consumer. We're all in this together. So I think, motherhood and balance and figuring out how to slowly grow versus taking money, and just really owning who you are and being okay that, as Vicky says, you're not everyone's cup of tea, and that's all right.
Yeah, I guess, a lot of questions from mompreneurs out there, exactly how to actually balance, they feel they're never enough for the business, and they never feel enough for their kids. But it's really great, like what you said, embrace yourself. That is such a great power over there. The moment you can embrace, I am a mother, and I try to be balanced, and I want to be, I give my best to the kids too, just embracing yourself every single day. That is really great. What do you think the goal of this business, maybe in the next 10 years, what do you see?
Oh, I love these questions. It's great. Well, about a little over a year ago, Lindsay came on board. She's a co-owner of NoMore, and Daniel I finally convinced. So we collectively have a passion to help people, and Lindsay is amazing with nutrition and holistic health and self-development. That's her personal passion project, is really helping people to find their mental stability, and because that's a big proponent of the wheel. You know, if we're not stable in every chunk of the pie, we'll never really have that whole, and you really have to do all the pieces. So, you know, her and I dream both of, we're working on a book right now, so we're on like chapter 8 of writing a book together. We want to do more public speaking and helping people around the world. ELLSSA is actually, it does retreats internationally. The next one is in Maui, so the nonprofit will be teaching a lot of the whole wheel and our impact on the world and ourselves. So more public speaking, the books, growing the company, moving into food world. So some big goals of things that we would like to do. We are looking towards a venue, a place where people can come and take workshops, put their hands on the products, see how it's made, and be a part of the process and helping to remove the toxicity from their life.
Yeah, oh my God, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
So, Sara, if any advice you could give for women entrepreneurs out there, especially the advice of not losing this hope, like what you have. You didn't lose hope, you rise up and you have goals, you know, like that is amazing. So any advice you could give?
I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that the number one thing I do when I would do private coaching with people was start meditating. If you're not meditating, start meditating, because we really have to sink into our inner voice, our third brain, our gut, our intuition source, and trust that. The more you trust it, the more you practice it, and you'll know the difference between intuition and fear. When spirit or your soul, whatever you want to call it, is guiding you, it feels expansive. Yeah. And even though it might be analytically like, wow, this is a brave thing to do, it still feels expansive. When it's fear and tight and concerning, that's typically fear. And that's the ego driven, that's not intuition and leaping on our soul's purpose. So start listening to that and trusting that. And the more that you follow other mompreneurs and entrepreneurs, you'll discover that there's a story where a lot of people say people didn't believe in them. Oh, everyone said that was a bad idea, or you couldn't do this, or you shouldn't do this. Yeah. I challenge that. I met the founder of UGG Boots, or the original one, years ago, and he said, you can't have both. And I was like, I'm not giving up any of my kids. Yeah. And you can discover life for you. So however that feels to you, and we don't see the behind the scenes. Yeah. We only see the after. It's messy for all of us. So find a good support. Find somebody who's willing to symbiotically donate their time to coaching you, because there's a lot of people for free who are mentors, elders, who really still want to connect and give, and who's there to help you when you're on a low financial level. So if you're really just starting to grow, there is someone there. And I lastly will end on belief. That for me, I believe I manifest my entire life. And I very much live a life of attracting. I believe that I attract all the things that I have, the bad, the good, and I was here for that reason. Yeah. So getting to your worth and saying things to yourself, like as I fall asleep, I say things, you know, being mindful of the practice you're doing every day, seeing your end goal, and most importantly, feeling that. So whatever you're doing, you better feel really good about it, because if you don't feel really good about it, it's going to show up to not work. So I could go on lots of other tips, but I'll finish it there. And yeah, really believe in yourself and have trust with that process.
Yeah. So if people want to find out about you more,
yeah,
and well, everything actually about your YouTube channel, your products, you know, anything you can share, where can they find you?
Yay, I love that question too. So ELLSSA is ELLSSA. And that is the 501c3 nonprofit that has its hands on doing so many world-changing things, and we partner with other nonprofits. You can find that lovely website at www.ellssa.org, which is ELLSSA. Now, NoMore is Nature of NoMore, NatureofNoMore.com. And it's the same thing for our YouTube channel, our Instagram. You just go to the /Nature of NoMore.
Oh my God, this is really amazing just to hear about your story. It's just like instant, you know, motivation for me. Anything else you want to share, or?
Thank you to you and your story. I've been following it, and that's an inspiration. And you shining the light for women to be seen is a very big deal, so thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. And don't forget to check her out, check her YouTube channel and all the social media. And don't forget to take care of yourself and keep believing in yourself.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
For a self-made woman like me.
This podcast is available on iTunes and other major podcast platforms. If you like this show, please subscribe and give your rating and review on iTunes. That means a lot to help the show keep going. You can also watch the video podcast series at youtube.com/Lydia Isnanto. See you on the next brand new chat. Until then, remember to share your story with someone, because you never know how one sentence of your life story could inspire others to rewrite their own.